On today's Royally Yes, the Princess of Wales steps out for Remembrance Day as Prince William calls 2024 the hardest year of his life. Plus, Robert Hardman reveals how Princess Catherine feels about returning to duty.
She doesn't, hasn't made any pretense it's been anything other than a very difficult year. But I think there's a sort of sense of practical optimism.
And Princess Charlotte's reaction to Prince William's scruff, Meghan and Harry put on a united front, and Prince Andrew may be staying at Royal Lodge. We've got that plus so much more in today's Royally Yes. Hey everyone, I'm Christina and that's Christine, and welcome to a big week of Royally Yes. How are you doing, Christine?
I'm doing so well. We've got lots of stories to get into, lots of fun things,
Yes.
and the Princess of Wales back to almost normal engagements.
Almost normal.
What an exciting
It really, really was. Yeah, let's kick it off with Princess Kate joining Prince William at the Remembrance Day festival on Saturday, November 9th. She dressed up in a fitted black coat dress adorned with gold buttons and a poppy pin affixed to her lapel. She completed her look with a delicate necklace, a pair of pearl drop earrings, and a quilted black clutch. She wore her hair down in loose waves that cascaded over one shoulder. I thought she looked absolutely beautiful. She was pictured entering London's Royal Albert Hall alongside her husband, who sported a crisp blue suit and his recently scruffy beard. So what did you think of Kate's appearance? I mean, I thought she looked beautiful, and it was nice to see her back to somewhat of a normal engagement.
These events are some of my favorites of the year because they're so poignant. They're so important in the year, and it's difficult because every year we feel like, oh, well, the fashion isn't really the focal point of the event, but I think you could not notice how incredible Kate looked. Her amazing hair, her outfit was just so chic and beautiful. I mean, she looked happy to be there. She was literally glowing. And it was so good to see her at this. This is an annual event, so it's nice to see her, sort of back in the routine.
No, Queen Camilla was not in attendance. She's been battling a chest infection, so she was not there. But Prince William did offer a promising update on Kate and her possible return to full-time royal work next year. He told UK's The Times in a profile published on November 10th, "I think hopefully Catherine will be doing a bit more next year, so we'll have some more trips maybe lined up." As for events including all three of the children as well, those possible outings are still up in the air. He said, family-wise, you have to wait a little bit longer because obviously they're at school, and I think that takes priority over above everything else. The Prince of Wales sat down for a rare, candid interview at the end of his recent high-profile trip to South Africa for his Earthshot Prize Awards, which of course was held last week. Now, he did admit to The Times that 2024 has been the most dreadful year of his life, referring specifically to the respective and unspecified cancer diagnosis of his father, King Charles, and of course his wife, Kate. He said, "It's probably been the hardest year in my life, so trying to get through everything else and keep everything on track has been really difficult." He noted that he is proud of his wife and father for overcoming their health challenges, and he said it's been brutal. I mean, he was very candid, very honest about, obviously this has been a very, very trying year in so many different aspects for him. But I mean, he said it was, the hardest year of his life, and he's had some pretty tough years behind him.
I think, yeah, in recent years, if we think back to, the loss of his mother, he's gone through so many difficult things, but I think a lot of people will appreciate that this particular year has been the most difficult, as he said. And this interview, it wasn't very long. He didn't really give too much away, but just sort of gave us enough that we felt that little bit of connection. It was so nice to hear from him and just hear his personal experience. Really, in a way, he's opening up and saying, this is the hardest year of my life, acknowledging how difficult it's been for them as a family, but they're all still trying to keep calm and carry on at the same time.
That's the motto, keep calm, carry on. But he had to pick up a lot of pieces, stepping in for his father, doing dad duty while also, being the Prince of Wales. It's probably a lot on his shoulders, and I'm sure he's probably happy that they're returning to somewhat of normalcy, planning trips for next year. And I know we recently spoke to author Robert Hardman about how the Princess of Wales may feel about going back to work. Take a look. How do you feel like she is approaching her work now?
Well, I think she's being very realistic. So she wouldn't sort of say I'm cancer-free so much as my chemotherapy treatment is over. She talks about having been through a very rough time. She doesn't, hasn't made any pretense it's been anything other than a very difficult year. But I think there's a sort of sense of practical optimism. She talks about taking every day as it comes. And first and foremost are the children, and then around that she's going to resume sort of working. But I think we're going to have to get used to not knowing what she's doing until fairly last minute, because I think that's just the nature of this disease.
Sure. Do you feel like she we don't know how she feels, but that she's, kind of seems the same, Kate, or does she seem a little different to you?
I think, yeah, I mean, she's very much the same in the sense she's sort of upbeat, this sort of vivacious, youthful, dynamic princess. But at the same time, I think we're all conscious, and she's certainly conscious, that she mustn't, overstress herself. She's got to be. She's got to be practical. She's got to listen to sort of medical advice. And, of course, everyone would love everything just to go back to normal and pretend this is a chapter, now it's over, let's move on. But it doesn't really work like that. So I think, she's encouraging us and everyone around her to be realistic.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of people say she's going to kind of be taking this day by day. If she feels up to it, she'll go. If she doesn't, she'll put her health first.
Yeah, and we know this is a long road to recovery. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint, so she'll be back when she's ready.
And Prince William also added that he really isn't a big fan of adding more work to his already crowded plate. I think we could all agree with this. He joked to reporters while speaking to the press on November 6th during his visit to South Africa, says, "You mentioned the added responsibility and the freedom in the same sentence. It's a tricky one. Do I like more responsibility? No. Do I like the freedom that I can build something like Earthshot? Then yes." He added, "And that's the future for me. It's very important with my role and my platform that I'm doing something for good, that I'm helping people's lives, that I'm doing something that is genuinely meaningful." One reporter noted that William appeared to have a laid-back nature during his Cape Town trip, and he said, "It's interesting you say that because I couldn't be less relaxed this year." So it's very interesting you're all seeing that. Maybe, everything that happened kind of put things in perspective for everybody, and that they're really going to be mindful and selective about what they decide to back, and put their efforts into things that they are really passionate about moving forward.
Yeah, and I think we've definitely seen that with the larger projects, rather than being a patron of 100 different charities. They're sort of focusing in on these key areas. With Prince William, it's homelessness and Earthshot. With Kate, we've seen that with her early childhood. So sort of, really focusing on these key issues. That way, we've seen Prince William talk about, this is what my focus is, and this is how I'm using my platform to help in this statement with Earthshot, but also recently with that Homewards documentary, he spoke about how he's using his platform to make these changes. And I think that makes the work more impactful, and it makes it a lot easier for people to become aware of what they're doing, rather than Queen Elizabeth II. I think she was patron of, was it over 120 charities, and probably more than that. That number is probably incorrect because she was just so involved. Whereas this modern era is sort of focusing on key issues and streamlining that, that patronage.
No, totally. Sometimes less is more. All right. Well, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle presented a united front as they spoke at the first ever global ministerial conference on violence against children in Colombia. The couple appeared via a video, and here is what they had to say.
We are at a crossroads where the urgency to reassess and redefine our approach to protecting children has become increasingly evident. While the necessity has always been apparent, it is now time to translate that awareness into meaningful action. So we thank you all for your attention to this critical issue.
My husband and I recognize today's reality is marked by greater connectivity and advanced technology, which of course has many positives, but which also compels us to better understand how digital violence against children is manifesting itself in this age. And at the Archwell Foundation, we engage with young people, families, and experts worldwide, learning how every aspect of a child's life, from their livelihood to their physical and mental well-being, now operate within an online economy that has the power to both shape and misshape our connections.
So what did you make of this message? Obviously, speaking of things that people are passionate about, this is what they are really getting behind, ending the violence against children on social media.
I think this was so great because it really fits in with the work that they have said that they wanted to do. A lot of their work lately has really been consistent with this, with online media reform, social media reform, bullying online. All of this really ties well together with their work. And so here we are talking about the work and and the causes that they're sort of putting forward. I really I appreciated this. I liked this. I think it got the message out to more people, and it was a great way to use their
It
platform.
really was. And then, Harry's been keeping busy. He made a surprise appearance at the annual Tillman Honors Gala in Chicago this past week after previously accepting the Pat Tillman Award for Service this past July. He joined Tillman Scholars, retired NFL quarterback Jake Plummer, and Pat Tillman Foundation CEO Dr. Catherine Steele for a leadership development session. This is interesting. I found this interesting because, there was so much hoopla and backlash when Prince Harry was going to accept this award. But now it seems like he's become part of this organization, which is a great thing. And he was actually seated next to Marie Tillman Shenton, and they shared a video highlights of the gala, and it seems like he's really immersed himself into this organization.
I think this is part of Harry's charm. This is sort of what we've known about him for a long time, is that there was this really awkward situation. People didn't think he was, worthy. And so he goes in there, he charms everyone. Now he's on the team, he's part of the crew. And that feels so in line with his personality and what we've, known about him for a long time, is that now he's involved in the organization, doing the good work. Everybody loves him because he's still charming and passionate about these issues and using his spotlight to promote these awards, I think in a really positive way.
Definitely. Everyone's wild about Harry. All right, well, let's spill some royal tea. And everybody's been talking about the new book from Robert Hardman, who we just spoke about. This was a re-release of his book. And this was an interesting anecdote. He said that Prince William and Princess Kate limit the staff number of their Adelaide Cottage home, which is located in Windsor. He wrote the couple did not seek to boost the staff numbers at Adelaide Cottage, not least because there would be little room to do so. He noted that the Kensington Palace team does include a yeoman, a multitasking attendant who looks after everything from luggage to uniforms, but there is no gentleman's gentleman on the staff. One source also told Hardman, and certainly no butler. It's very much them at home with the kids, which I feel like we've kind of known about them. They want to keep everything as normal as possible. They're very hands-on, and they want to just, kind of do things for themselves.
Yeah, we know, the Princess of Wales has talked about cooking dinner with with the children, making cheesy pasta and homemade pizzas. We know that they're the ones doing the school run. I hope that they are outsourcing things like laundry and the cleaning. Like who wouldn't? So many people do that. Of course they're going to do that. But I think from a day-to-day perspective, it's a lot less stuffy inside the house. At home, I think Prince William probably loves that. And for Kate, it's business as usual. That's how she grew up. It's, and now they're creating this family home.
Yeah, no, but I agree with you. Hopefully they're taking advantage of laundry and cleaning because nobody really wants to do that. Well, another interesting note from the book, Queen Elizabeth was writing daily entries in her personal diary right up until the time of her death. So on September 6th of 2022, 2 days before she died, the Queen wrote in her personal journal, "Edward came to see me." She jotted this note down while stationed in her beloved Balmoral, of course located in Scotland, where she chose to spend her final days until her passing on September 8th. The monarch was referring to her private secretary, Sir Edward Young, who at the time was helping her to make arrangements for the swearing in of Prime Minister Liz Truss. Hardman wrote in his book, "It could have been describing another normal working day starting in the usual way. Edward came to see me," as she noted the arrangements which her private secretary, Sir Edward Young, had made for the swearing in of the new ministers of the Truss administration. So, she was hard at work. We saw those photos of her meeting with the Prime Minister at the time, and she was working right up until the time of her passing.
It's just incredible. Her sense of duty and dedication to her role is so admirable. I hope that people could learn so much from that in lots of different ways, because I think a lot of people, when you get to that age, when you're in that state of health, you probably just want to say turn the TV on curl up on the sofa, but she was so dedicated. I mean, this isn't even, people might see this and think, oh, Edward, her son, and no, actually it's her private secretary. She's still so committed to the work, and this just goes to show what a hardworking, incredibly strong woman she was.
Oh, definitely. Working up, never wanted to slow down, and she never did. Speaking of never wanting to slow down, King Charles followed up his recent trip to Australia and Samoa by hosting a celebratory reception for UK Olympic and Paralympic athletes at Buckingham Palace on November 7th, during which he dished on which exercises he does to stay in shape in his 8th decade of life. According to The Telegraph, Charles told athletes that he exercises twice a day, noting to sprinter Desiree Henry that he does squats and does the pull-up bar. Per the outlet, Charles has been known to follow Royal Navy-style exercises, which he learned during his past military service. British diver Jack Laffer told the outlet that Charles was so animated and interested during the event and was really interested in their sports facilities and training programs, adding that was the most successful games for diving, especially for the women. I love that he is, I don't know where he finds the time to work out twice a day, but doing those squats and those pull-ups, it's keeping him healthy.
This is so incredible. I mean, he's doing squats and pull-ups. He's doing 2 workouts a day. We know he has half an avocado for lunch. He is a wellness influencer at this point. Someone get him on the Goop podcast. But these anecdotes are so great. You can tell that King Charles he's settling into his role, becoming more confident with, his relationship with the people, and we're learning all these amazing things about him.
They are. I love it. I love all these little facts and notes about him. I love it. All right. Well, Prince Andrew has secured enough funding to support himself and stay at the Royal Lodge weeks after King Charles cut him off and ordered him out of the sprawling property. Now, this is according to several reports. So exactly where the Duke of York got the funding remains unclear. His only known source of steady income is a Royal Navy pension, but the Crown's financial director approved that everything was coming from legitimate sources. Now, the Sunday Times did report this. So it seems like he is digging in his heels, and he is finding every little way to stay at the Royal Lodge.
He cannot take a hint.
No.
I mean, we've said this so many times, like, take a hint. Go to a little retirement place. I mean, maybe it's Sarah Ferguson who's funding this. I mean, she's written a lot of books. Never know what those royalties look like.
Yeah, no, it's true.
But I mean, this is just a great example of a man not taking a hint and not reading the room.
Not reading the room at all. All right, well, let's wrap it up with our pint-sized palace, and Prince William revealed the unexpected reaction he received from daughter Princess Charlotte over his beard. He said, Charlotte didn't like it the first time. I got floods of tears, so I had to shave it off, and then I grew it back. I thought, hang on a second, and I convinced her it was going to be okay. I love this. Sometimes when parents change their looks, the kids just aren't ready for it.
I know, she's probably like, what is this? What are you doing? But actually, after such a difficult year, probably anything that's changed is going to upset, young children. But I can see Charlotte just not liking it. And, you can tell from her attitude that, she wants a big say in what goes on in that house.
Yep, it seems like she's going to tell it as it is. I love it. All right, well, that is it for this week's episode of Royally Asked. Christine, thank you so much, as always.
I feel like we have so many royal events to look forward to. It's a fun. We're back to all these great fun stories.
Definitely. All right, well, keep commenting, keep subscribing, and we'll see you next week.